In the sun-drenched paradise of Florida, where dreams are born and fortunes are made, Dalia Dippolito seemed to have it all. A life of luxury, a wealthy husband, and the allure of a young woman on the rise. Her world was a tapestry of glamour and ambition, woven with threads of gold and promise. But beneath this dazzling facade lurked a heart as cold as ice, a mind consumed by a plot so sinister it would shock the nation. This is the story of a deadly deception, a tale of love turned to hatred, and a scheme that would unravel in the most spectacular way imaginable. As we delve into the depths of this chilling true crime saga, we're confronted with a woman whose beauty masked a terrifying truth. Dalia Dippolito, with her captivating smile and designer wardrobe, was the picture of success. Her marriage to Michael Dippolito, a man of considerable means, seemed to be the crowning jewel of her charmed life. The couple's social media was awash with images of exotic vacations, lavish parties, and the trappings of wealth that so many covet. But appearances can be deceiving, and in the case of Dalia Dippolito, they were a carefully constructed illusion. For behind closed doors, a storm was brewing, one that would soon break with devastating force. In the early months of 2009, the Boynton Beach Police Department received a call that would set in motion a series of events straight out of a Hollywood thriller. On the other end of the line was a friend of Dalia's, his voice trembling with urgency. The story he told seemed almost too outrageous to be true. Dalia Dippolito, the picture-perfect wife, was actively seeking to hire a hitman to murder her husband. At first, the police were skeptical. How could this glamorous young woman, who seemed to have everything, be plotting such a heinous crime? But the caller was insistent, his details too specific to ignore. The seed of doubt had been planted, and the authorities knew they had to act. What followed was an investigation that would push the boundaries of law enforcement ingenuity. The police, now on high alert, began to piece together a plan that would either expose a deadly conspiracy or clear Dalia's name once and for all. They decided to set up an elaborate sting operation, one that would give Dalia the opportunity to reveal her true intentions. Enter the undercover detective, a seasoned officer tasked with playing the role of a professional hitman. The stage was set for a meeting that would change everything. As hidden cameras rolled, Dalia Dippolito arrived, her demeanor calm and collected. What transpired next would send shockwaves through the community and beyond. In chilling detail, Dalia laid out her murderous intentions. With a coldness that belied her warm exterior, she discussed the logistics of her husband's demise. As the undercover officer probed deeper, Dalia's resolve never wavered. She spoke of making the murder look like a botched robbery, of ensuring there would be no traces left behind. Her calm demeanor as she plotted the death of the man she had vowed to love was perhaps the most disturbing aspect of all. But the police weren't done yet. They needed one final, irrefutable piece of evidence to seal their case. In a move that would push the boundaries of police procedure, they decided to stage an elaborate fake crime scene. The plan was audacious. They would create the illusion that Michael Dippolito had indeed been murdered, and then observe Dalia's reaction. Been the early hours of a Florida morning. As Dalia went about her routine at the gym, police descended on the Dippolito home. With Michael's cooperation, they transformed the residence into a mock murder scene. Crime scene tape fluttered in the breeze. Police cars lined the street, and officers milled about with grim expressions. As Dalia returned home, she was confronted with a sight that should have been her worst nightmare. Police officers approached her, their faces somber, to deliver the news that her husband had been found dead. What happened next would be captured on police body cameras, preserving forever the moment when Dalia Dippolito's carefully constructed world began to crumble. At first, her performance was Oscar-worthy. She wailed and sobbed, her face a mask of shock and grief. To the untrained eye, she appeared to be a woman devastated by unimaginable loss. But the trained eyes of the Boynton Beach police saw through the act. They watched as Dalia played the role of the grieving widow, knowing all the while that her tears were as false as her love had been. The final act of this twisted drama played out at the police station. There, surrounded by the very officers who had unraveled her plot, Dalia Dippolito was confronted with the truth. As the recordings of her own voice filled the room, discussing murder with cold precision, her facade began to crack. The video footage of her meetings with the undercover hitman played on screens before her, each frame another nail in the coffin of her freedom. In those moments, as realization dawned, Dalia's composure finally shattered. The confident, scheming woman who had so calmly planned her husband's murder was gone, replaced by a cornered animal, desperate and afraid. Her eyes darted around the room, seeking an escape that would never come. The truth, so long hidden behind a veil of lies and deception, had finally come to light. The case of Dalia Dippolito would go on to captivate the nation, becoming one of the most infamous true crime stories of the decade. It was a tale that had everything: beauty, wealth, betrayal, and a plot so brazen it seemed almost unbelievable. But what set this case apart, what made it truly extraordinary, was the meticulous documentation of every step of Dalia's descent into criminality. From the initial phone call that sparked the investigation to the final moments of her arrest, nearly every aspect of the case was recorded. The police had created an airtight case, one that would prove almost impossible to defend against. Dalia Dippolito's own words and actions had sealed her fate. As the dust settled and the trial began, the world watched in fascination. Here was a woman who had seemed to have it all, now facing the consequences of her actions. The evidence was damning, the testimony compelling. In the end, justice would prevail, with Dalia convicted of solicitation to commit murder. But the story of Dalia Dippolito is more than just a sensational true crime tale. It serves as a stark reminder of the darkness that can lurk behind even the most beautiful facades. It challenges us to question our assumptions, to look beyond the surface and recognize that evil can wear many masks. As we reflect on this chilling case, we're left to ponder the nature of truth and deception. How well do we really know those closest to us? What secrets might be hiding behind the smiles and success of those we admire? The case of Dalia Dippolito forces us to confront these uncomfortable questions, reminding us that sometimes the greatest dangers are those we never see coming. In the end, the truth, no matter how horrifying, will always find its way into the light. Dalia Dippolito's deadly plot, conceived in secrecy and nurtured by greed, was exposed for all the world to see. Her story stands as a testament to the relentless pursuit of justice and the power of technology to unveil even the most carefully hidden truths. As the sun sets on this tale of betrayal and deceit, we're left with a sobering thought. In a world where appearances can be so easily manipulated, where social media allows us to curate our lives for public consumption, how can we truly know what lies beneath the surface? The case of Dalia Dippolito serves as a chilling reminder that sometimes the most dangerous predators are the ones hiding in plain sight. Their smiles as bright as the Florida sun, and their hearts as dark as the deepest ocean.